IPEM International students, welcome to your EVA class. Today, I, Ms. Manal Ahmed, will be teaching you about our environmental problems. So students, in the previous chapter, you learned about ecosystem, environment, and population. In this chapter, you will be learning about the different environmental problems. The environment we live in is a source of life not only for us, but all living organisms. Why should we be so concerned about the environment? Because in the ancient times, since human population was less, human activities were also less. And those human activities in the past were eco-friendly. That means didn't harm the environment. Because man considered nature as a divine force, so man worshipped nature and took care of it and never harmed it. But as time went by, human beings progressed in the field of science and technology. Human population increased. Now naturally, if population is increasing, demand for different kinds of resources for survival will also increase. So, developmental activities started affecting our environment, like industrialization, urbanization. All these activities started affecting our environment, polluted our environment. It caused an imbalance in the nature and resulted in poor quality deterioration, that is, of our land, air, and water. It also caused loss of several species of plants and animals. And today, they are not with us. So most of the plants and animals which were present in the past have got extinct. They are no more today. Let us discuss the major causes of ecosystem destruction. Ecosystem transformation or destruction mainly occurs due to the changes in the land cover. Now, what is land cover? Land cover is the physical material at the Earth's surface, that is, like grasses present or trees in a forest or water in a pond or lake. Land cover changes occur as a result of natural forces or man-induced changes. Natural forces say wind, water, changes in drainage. Drainage could be considered as a natural cause if the water is flowing off from the farmers' fields into the nearby lakes or rivers. Other forces like floods, droughts, failure of rain can also be taken into account. Then we have man-induced changes. Main reasons listed out here are all man-induced, like population growth, urbanization, industrialization, transportation system, mining, war, and construction of dams. Let us begin with population growth. Rapid growth of population has resulted in increased demand for food, water, and shelter. This has added pressure on the land because the resources on the land are limited and they take a long time to renew. Now, what does it mean by this has added pressure on the land? Well, it simply means that since the population size is increasing day by day, but the size of Earth doesn't increase. This implies that there is a limited amount of area to provide food and shelter to the growing population. Hence, this has added pressure on the land. The resources on the land are limited and they take a long time to renew, considering the example of fossil fuels. As you all know,
that fossil fuels are considered to be non-renewable resources. They are considered so because they take millions of years to form. Population growth has resulted in the increase in demand for food and thus extension of the agricultural land. How can agricultural lands be extended? Since the size of the earth is limited, this means to provide for crops, forest lands have to be cleared. These forest lands are first cleared off, they are destroyed for the conversion into agricultural lands to produce crops for the growing population. As a result of which there is loss of flora and fauna and changes in the environmental conditions due to lesser number of trees. The plants and animals that were previously living in a forest land, since they are cleared, they lose their habitat. These plants and animals, they have to either migrate or face extinction. There occurs changes in the climatic conditions as well. Less number of trees, that means less rainfall, and less rainfall means rise in the global temperatures, resulting into global warming. To increase the yield of crops, the farmers use chemical fertilizers and pesticides which contaminate the groundwater and reduce fertility of land. These chemicals are supposed to increase the fertility of the land and to kill pests. These chemicals contaminate the groundwater. As they seep down into groundwater, they contaminate it. Chemicals also reduce the fertility of land. It also pollutes the rivers and lakes due to the agricultural runoff during rainfalls. Increasing population also increased the demand for water, which is being fulfilled by pumping up of groundwater. Now, if groundwater is being used more, this means there will be reduction in the level of groundwater table.
Growing population increased the demand for shelter infrastructure such as roads, industries, shopping malls, educational complexes, hospitals, etc. All this has transformed natural green landscapes into polluted land masses. Naturally, when the area on planet Earth is limited, but the population keeps on increasing, then to fulfill the demand for shelter, infrastructural development, urbanization, industrialization has to be done. And all this requires more land, resulting into more pollution. More the population, more is the waste generated, and greater is the land degradation. Land degradation is the process in which the value of the environment becomes affected, making it undesirable.
Urbanization. It is the migration of people from rural to urban areas. Now, why are people migrating to urban areas? In search of job and better living conditions. This results in concentration of population in the cities. Moving on to the impacts of urbanization. The main impact of urbanization is the loss of habitat of plants and animals. Naturally, when there are people migrating to urban areas, then to fulfill their demands in the urban areas, more land is required. This land was previously some forest land. When the forest lands get cleared, It results in loss of habitat of plants and animals. Moving on to the next one. More consumption of resources and energy. Urbanization increases the demand of resources and more consumption of energy. When the population is increasing, then the demand for resources will also increase, as a result of which more energy is consumed. Next is pollution. Urbanization increases pollution and also increases generation of wastes. It also results in food shortage and water shortage in the areas. It causes poor sanitation problems, resulting into health issues and the spread of diseases. If there is increase in the population of the cities, then there will be increase in the demand for jobs in the cities and increase in crime rates. So it increases unemployment, which leads to poverty and illiteracy.